present. Adoption of the agenda.
I think you missed this.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Chair.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
I think there was a correction, where is Mr. Coleman?
He was upstairs in the office, he should be in just a minute.
I'll go ahead, we do need to pull one item from the agenda, the, program, part on the public hearing for the application for the country club. The planning and zoning committee was supposed to advertise that for 15 days per the LDR, and it was only advertised for 6. We are gonna have to pull that from the agenda and re-agenda it after they have their, another meeting that has been advertised for 15 days. I apologize, I know most of you are here for that hearing, but in research this morning, we found out, and Mr. Reeves and Mr. Kaufman are not present right now, but they informed me that the 15 days was not honored, so we're gonna have to re-agenda that probably for the first meeting in August. So I apologize to all of you who came out for that reason. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, it may be a appropriate question for our attorney. That being as we have folks here that are here for that reason that they have the right to speak, not pull it from the agenda, just have some discussion and but not make a decision or have to take a vote on it today. Is that appropriate?
I think that's certainly within the discretion of the board. One other thing I would, probably recommend is, since the committee mistake didn't get it advertised correctly, it might be, if the board wishes to, you can go ahead and maybe set some special meetings so that we can get it advertised properly and go ahead and get this through the system.
That'd be a good
Some
idea.
special meetings with the zoning board to look at commission.
It's strictly up to the rest of you guys, but I
Yeah.
think the people's taken and traveled to
That's true.
hear this today, and I think that we should honor their presence and, give them opportunities to make any discussions they would like to have on it, although we didn't get a make a decision on it today.
Mr. Chair, I agree with that.
Okay.
We can hear those comments, but as Commissioner Davis said, no decisions.
Right, no decision. So technically, well, we'll have them speak, but the item 1 will be, I guess, tabled until, and I think that is.
Oops.
That's your bonus.
Oh, should I see?
I apologize.
Mr. Chair, I have another question or concern on a different matter, and I guess a legal question for the attorney. Down at item number 3, where it says alcohol, can that just say beer, or we going by an ordinance?
Well, I think what you're asking is, can the ordinance, be directed just toward, beer as opposed to other forms of alcohol?
That's correct, right.
And no, I don't believe it can. Ordinarily, you have a lot more discretion in ordinances on how you do it. In this case, with alcohol, the state has preempted the regulation of alcohol, except that they give you a specific exception for the setting of hours of the service of alcohol. And and I provided the statute last time, but anyway, that statute doesn't make that distinction, so I don't believe the county can, make a distinction. I can research that further, though, if y'all would like.
Well, it's on the agenda now, so I guess we can go with it like it is. But I just, in the back of my mind, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Wait a second.
Yeah,
Okay, excuse me.
Correction, what was the motion now? The table?
No.
The pool?
Well, we'll pull as far as any action.
The motion would be to change new business number 1 from public hearing for special exception to discussion on special exception.
Right,
Discussion on.
Yes, sir.
right. So that would be the change. Okay, having, that correction made on the adoption agenda, do all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carries 5-0. All right, petitions from the public. Let's see. Dave Norton, come forward, please. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Didn't realize
realize it was gonna be this fast, thank you. A while back, sometime last fall, I came and I think expressed my concerns about the situation at the Cherry Lake Boat Ramp. And I'd just like to say, I'd like to amend my concerns and say I see some good improvements out there, and I sure appreciate everyone's efforts. Of course, still have a concern that we're gonna be able to keep that up, but, the results look great at this point, and just wanted to thank everybody, that may have been involved with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Norman. All right, Alderman Virginia Harris, come forward, please. Good morning.
Come to you this morning. I come requesting support to save Mystic Lake. We purchased some property in 2005. At that time, the central portion of the lake and to the public boat access ramp was open and clear, and there were fishermen out there every day fishing in the lake. There were tussocks around the edge of the pond with hydrangeas and lilies that were growing, and my husband and I purchased an aquatic weed harvester and got permission from the Fish and Wildlife Commission to clean up our section, which it cleaned up really perfectly and looked great. In 2009, I was approached by Mr. Patrick McCord, who is one of the commissioners that was in charge of that area for the Fish and Wildlife Conservation for Florida, and he said that the state had money and they wanted to allocate it to clean up Mystic Lake. That they wanted to come in and clean up the entire lake, which he quoted as being 100-acre lake, and wanted the property owners' permission to do so on our sections. And so, of course, they did. They got a big company from South Florida come in. They had up like 10, 12 boats. And they did clean, they took a lot of muck and sediment from the entire lake. It looked great. The fishing game, they restocked the lake. But within the next year, big muck piles was floating up from the center of the lake. And it has continued for the bottom to float up. It's now occluded the entire lake, and even the public boat access is inaccessible. There's so much vegetation that has grown on what has floated up that it is pushing the water up on the shore at least 10 feet farther than it has ever been. And my husband had contact the Fish and Game Commission, asking them to please come back and continue the project they had started. They took over the lake, to please make it accessible and a good fishing lake for the public. And he did get a letter from Mr. Patrick McCord, and he was referring us to ask for a reassessment of the lake, claiming that it would take so much money now that it's not practical to spend that much money on such a small lake. But to me, 100-acre lake is not a really small lake. And
It's a pond.
My husband has since passed, so I'm here on his behalf to, I know there's more in number, so I'm asking for support of the community and of the commission to contact these people, and ask them to reassess and get Mystic Lake back to, a lake that the public can use. I spoke with the, county engineer here, and he asked me if there was any pictures. And there is, pictures of what the lake used to be like, and this was back in 1951 on the commissioner's website. It's a beautiful cypress lake, and then the pictures, when we took it over, you can see the center of the lake is open. Around the edges, there were tussocks and growth, but the center of the lake was beautiful. And when they cleaned or dredged the pond or the lake, I believe that they went too deep and they caused the interior of the lake to float up. Now, it's occluded. This was 2 years ago, and even now, you can't even see the water. You can't, the water isn't even visible anymore, much less usable. So, I have the numbers I'd like to leave, and maybe publish, so maybe we can get people to reach out and say, give us back our lake, make Mystic Lake a beautiful lake again, like it was.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kaufman, I'd like to ask the staff write a letter to the, Wildlife Fishing Commission, and, I ask them for their advice on this, or what can be done, if you would take care of that, please. Okay.
Can I leave this
Yes,
with you
yes.
for the numbers? It has the letter to the husband, and it has the people to contact.
Be glad to do it.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, next, Shay Garcia. Come on up, Ms. Garcia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you all are doing well. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present before you today. Sorry, you're waking up. I'm actually with Wellcare Logistics, and we're a company that's locally owned and operated here in Madison. And our focus is on green energy, and we do not have the time frame to give a full visual presentation. So what we would like to do is request to be added to your agenda for your next meeting, so that we can give you the full visual presentation and show how Madison County, along with the citizens, can benefit from the collaboration with our company.
Put you on the agenda for the next meeting, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Lanoy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Thank you for the chance to share a little bit with you. I'm one of, several citizens that has concern about the RV park. Since you guys are tabling that until next month, I'll speak a little more in detail, at that time. Just to note, some concerns that my understanding is that, the original plan zoning board being, pushed through 33 and 33 here that you guys approved last time. I know there's an issue of maybe 75 on the application, so I know it's something you guys will look at and address at the right time. So, there's a lot of issues that we're concerned about, and, we'll go into greater detail in the next meeting. But I appreciate you guys listening to everyone and taking time doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Robert Dixon.
My name is Robert Dixon. I live in Lee. I'm employed by the Middle Florida Baptist Association. It is my understanding that today you will reconsider removing the prohibition to sell alcohol on Sundays. If that is true, I would be greatly disappointed in all of you. At your meeting on the evening of June 26, I stood before you and suggested you drop the issue of allowing alcohol to be sold on Sundays. Others spoke against the idea as well. When Chairman Kelly suggested that a motion for such an ordinance would be in order, none of you said a word. All 5 of you commissioners were present that evening. To plain folks like me, that indicates the end of the issue. But apparently in today's world of Madison County politics, that was simply a pause to regroup and formulate another attack. This time with language that purposefully omits the word Sunday in the agenda item. Such political maneuvering is both deceptive and shameful. You heard the people speak that night, Madison County citizens, plain folks who believe your yes should mean yes, your no should mean no. But you all said nothing that night. You took no stand. You made no commitment to the people of Madison County. Instead, you bided your time to wait for a more opportune moment. In addition to that, you have conveniently omitted the June 26th agenda from your website. You have conveniently omitted that entire segment from your YouTube recording of the June 26th meeting. You appear to be trying to do everything possible to pretend that citizens, voters, were not present that night to speak against the notion of selling alcohol on Sundays. But they were present. They did speak. And they told you then they did not want alcohol sales on Sundays. Today I stand here on behalf of all those citizens who spoke to you that night to remind you of what they said. They told you they did not want alcohol sales on Sundays. For most of us here in Madison County, Sunday is a special day. There's no need to sell alcohol on Sunday. There's no demand across the county to sell alcohol on Sundays. And I'm deeply disappointed in your attempt to circumvent the will of the people with such political shenanigans as you appear to be conducting today.
All right, next we'll hear from Lisa Hill. Oh, that's right. You got something to skip. Lisa, we're gonna hold it till we get number 3 on the agenda.
Okay.
Included, okay, I appreciate it. Number 2, excuse me. Merv, Taylor, you'll come next time. I ask, Lisa to wait till we get to item number 3 there on the agenda.
I think he left.
Did Merv leave?
Yes.
All right, we'll, move right on down the agenda then. Constitutional officers, Sheriff.
Just briefly, Commissioners, unfortunately, the last few days I've been dealing with a pig scramble issue instead of dealing with the sheriff's office issues. But because it affects Madison County, I just want to make sure you're aware of the issues involved because of the pig scramble that happened at the Yogi Bear Park. I've been inundated again with emails and death threats from across the state. I haven't got one from China. I did get one from China on the cat caboodle thing, so that was a record. Jim, have you ever gotten a death threat as far away as China? That's a record. But at this point, this has become kind of a little national issue. And so I know you as commissioners will get complaints if you haven't already on our county website. So Jamie and I have spoken. I just wanted to make sure you understood Florida statute. Florida statute says that the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services is their jurisdiction for the protection of livestock in the state of Florida. So I'm referring everything to them. The thing that would come under my jurisdiction is animal cruelty, and this is not an animal cruelty case. And that's our stance on it. They've gone as far as pulling Mr. Reagan's franchise over this thing. So I just want to make sure y'all are aware of that, so that when you get questions, instead of referring them to me, you can just refer them straight to the state, to Nikki Freed, and maybe she'll be not smoking marijuana or on our marijuana campaign, and be able to take the call. But that's where that needs to go, because I don't have time to deal with pig scrambles. But I would ask you to, you may want to think about that because of the county sanctions pig scrambles that we have in the future. The second thing that I'm gonna ask commissioners is if y'all take the stance to cancel our firework program or suggest one be canceled, do not call the sheriff's office to ask us to come enforce it. You can call the state fire marshal's office. You can call Jim Fenoy, he might wanna come do it. But I'm not gonna come to stand and cancel a fireworks program over anything that was initiated by a county officer. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. And that's the rest of it. Thank you here.
We have any other constitutional officers here? Mr. Washington, you want? You have anything? Okay. All right, moving on down, we have, no unfinished business. The discussion regarding the maintenance of the map on the northeast, Duval Pond Road. Mr. Thickman, you want to come and address that? You and Mr. Steve, does he need?
If you will pass these around, these are just for information. That's just an updated list of the paving priority for the state-funded roads in the county and the county-funded roads. We took out the roads that are completed, and that's just the roads that are left on that priority list, and we can add or subtract if we wish to. We do have Duval Pond Road that'll be coming up for a state-funded project. We should be getting a contract on that any day. The construction is slated for this fiscal year. The state fiscal year runs from July 1st to June the 30th. We feel like we probably need to do a maintenance map on that road. We may have some right-of-way issues for some extra width and what have you, but we need to establish, what we maintain now. That's what we're coming asking today, is just to get approval for that maintenance map. I have got a quote from Briggs, Washington and Thompson for doing that road would be $15,444.
Say that again, what?
The quote for doing the maintenance map was $15,444. It's $1.25 per foot.
You got that in your budget?
We don't normally set aside money specifically just for maintenance maps. I'd have to get with Mr. Washington and see where we could take that money. We have some, I believe, in construction in progress that may be possible. It's just a matter of, I believe that in the total budget, we think have the funds, but we don't normally set aside a specific line item in the budget for maintenance maps. That may be something we need to consider.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to start the process for this maintenance map. We have the funds available.
Okay, I have a motion to set aside funds to start this process. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of?
Discussion.
Discussion, yes, sir.
Did I understand you to say this coming from state funds?
It's a state reimbursed project, that's correct.
Okay.
And they don't fund our portion of the maintenance.
It won't be for maintenance maps or any right-of-way issues, it's just for the construction of the road.
Okay. Scrap, Scott.
I believe that one is scrap. Is that correct, Bill?
Got.
I'd have to go back and look at the contract.
Okay, no
It
problem.
does.
There's a little bit of, issues you have to meet in for each program we put.
Scrap is generally resurfacing.
Scott.
I think this
I
was,
think it's Scott.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this was a road that was slated to be paved a year or two ago and DOT pulled it. And now they guaranteed that it'd be put back, in another
Yeah, I think they
budget.
moved it back, 1 or 2 years. They did give us extra money when they did that.
Right.
To compensate for the increased cost.
So, Mr. Chairman, is the motion to go ahead and do the maintenance map, or is the motion to look at the budget and bring it back for y'all to decide if you got the money to do it?
What I got as a motion is to start the process if the funds are available within the road department's budget.
Okay. We all understand the motion?
And that just being the 15,000 for the maintenance map.
That's correct. That is correct. Now, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried 5-0. Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I make
Yes,
one more comment?
yes,
Also keep in mind, Oak Hill Road from 150 to where we did the new pavement is scheduled for the following year for construction, so we may wanna consider doing a maintenance map on that as well.
Right.
We don't have to do that today, we could re-agenda it if you wish to.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Re-agenda?
Re-agenda? Okay,
Yeah.
let's re-agenda later on. Okay. Anything else?
I believe that's all I have.
Okay. Okay, we'll go back to, I know there's a lot of people here that came to speak, some that didn't sign up on the initial, petition from the public, but I'm gonna give, 3 minutes to each person that would like to come up and have a word to say, if you would, about the, proposed RV park. And we did to leave that for discussion. She's here, remember, she's here. Anybody else want to get up? Mr. Norfleet?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mike Norfleet, born and raised here. Family has been here since 1800, started Smith Drug Store. I've been here, I love this community. I've had businesses in this community, and I like to see the community prosper and grow. And I'm a member of the country club, I'm a golfer, I'm an RVer. I'm actually washing an RV right now, I'm a little late to the meeting. There are concerns about the RV park. The concern ought to be about the country club being able to maintain a prosperous business, or to start prospering. In 1953, there were 100 members at that club. We had a 2-lane highway with Highway 9. There was no congestion. When I RV, 3 hours before I go into an RV campground, I know exactly where I'm gonna turn, and I'm driving 10 miles per hour, because you don't wanna turn around a 40-foot RV. The concern of quietness, 450-foot buffer is being offered. 25 foot's the only thing required. I understand concerns of noise. You cannot hear the air conditioner with the camper right beside you. We don't know if we're not gonna get the next businessman that comes into this community that likes Madison, just passing through, that can infuse money into this community. The money that will be brought to the businesses, to the restaurants that are struggling right now from campers, will be, it's already been discussed, $100,000 a month. That's at an average. I'll speak more at the next meeting, but I just really wish we would consider a business that is being proposed and professionally presented. It's time for us to kind of let go of some of these roads aren't ready and all this. Well, it's time to get them ready. And maybe that money brought to this community can help get them ready. We've got to improve the infrastructure, at least on the west side. We're losing businesses. I don't like to see things close, restaurants close. And if a golf course closes, I'm retired now. I know I'm one person, but there's several others. I'm not sticking around. That's my hobby. I don't hunt. That's my hobby. So I would love for y'all to consider that this is good business, and it's gonna be constructed very professionally. And it was already presented in a packet that proposed the number of sites. And this meeting should be about the additional 20, this next meeting. And nothing going back on what was presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norfleet. Would anyone else like to come speak? Raise your hand. Please say your name.
Gail.
Gail, come on, Ms. Digger. Couldn't see you back there.
Thank you, I appreciate your service to this county. I would like to say that of the 2 people I've heard make an impassioned plea for this country club, neither of them live behind it. And if any of you would like to have an RV park that potentially 95 RVs, and you add all the people that would be in those RVs with a free pass to play golf, what I'd like to know is how often my husband and the other people who love that course would get to play golf. Would you like to go out and play golf when you've got people with kids who don't play golf out playing around on the course for free? And we learned last night they have a free pass right in their package. And if you would like to live behind a course like that, I think that you should vote for it and vote your conscience. If you can do that. But it's one reason we decided to come to Madison County was not only because our family was here, my daughter was here, and my grandchildren, who thought when they bought that land behind the course that they were gonna love to play golf, and they have. And I can tell you one thing, that course would have probably survived without their buying the course. My husband was on the board at the time. He did not vote to give that course away because he's a good businessman. He knew that was a bad deal, and he could see this coming. We have a great RV park located just a few miles down the road in a proper place, right off a major highway, and you do not have to drive through a residential section where there are a lot of poor people with no sidewalk, and the kids are out on the road, and people in wheelchairs that you drive. I can tell you, a lot of really unhappy people left that terrible meeting last night where some were insulted without cause and hurt. And I heard my neighbors and people that I love who live back of that course really were, they were really, really upset with that hearing where, if you could call it a hearing because they did listen to the people who spoke, but they did not honor the will of the people who matter, the people who will be affected. And I worked all my life for free after I lost my son, developing the first Boys and Girls Clubs in our region. I know what it's like to go in the homes of poor people, and I have walked in those neighborhoods over there where my friend Laura Coleman and Jeanette Mitchell live, and I can tell you how they feel. They do not want this. They don't want their children at risk on that road. They're already at risk from school buses that drive down that road all the time. This is a bad idea. And I think you know better. And I thank you for honoring us the other times we have come before this board, for doing the right thing for this county. I'll tell you, when we were fighting for the coal plants that are now considered a dinosaur by many, as new energy has taken its place, when I went before that board in Tallahassee that first night when there were 200 people in Taylor County that opposed that consortium, I looked around at that board, and today I see only kind people. But when I went that night on June 6th, you never forget that, I looked around for a caring face, and I saw the most caring face was Commissioner Katz. And what I said was, I put down my notes and I said, if you can do this to the people of Madison County or Taylor County, I ask you, would you do this to yourselves? Would you do this to your own community? And next day, Mr. Alan Katz read before, he called a press conference, and he said, the people, and particularly one lady, changed my mind. And when he wrote articles later on about that, and you might have seen them and remembered them, he talked about how could he do that when they would not allow it in their own community, and they had an ordinance against it. We've got one great RV park that has all the bells and whistles. We have one golf course we stand to lose. I thank you for caring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dick. All right, moving on now. Come on here. Sorry about that, I was looking down. Sir, come on.
My name is Donald Davis. I would like to speak on part of being a businessman in Madison County. I have a grocery store also, called City Marketplace, and a restaurant. And I think the thing of it is, no disrespect to anyone, we're in the 21st century, we still talking about businesses coming to this community. I play golf. I was out there the last couple of days playing golf at the country club. this RV park brings a lot of money to Madison County. True enough, we do have one, you heard what she said, one place that we think should be home, but it's making it more competitive when you have more things around here. As a local business, right now, school out. We know the economy where people make more money is teachers, prison, and Gold Kits and Dixie Pack, well, starting line, so that's the most of the money. But you got people coming through, like the man said earlier. People travel through RVs. I grew up in Madison. I heard the train every morning. I know what time the train comes. I live in Lee, $200,000 house. I know what time the train comes. It wake me up twice, my kids, so but it's become a part of who you are. All right? Only way we could be better if we bring stuff here. I understand that certain people want to run Madison County, but when is enough gonna be enough that you say that my kids got to leave Madison because they can't keep a steady income? And that's what we are still the same way today. Just like the man said, they close down, he ain't playing golf. I go Quitman play golf as well. And you go over there, the same man used to be in Quitman, he's in Madison making the course better. So it brings money to my business, even though most of you probably, Mr. Moore, you know about this, you know about this stuff. So how can we give stuff away, but then when people bring ideas of making the community better? Madison's a ghost town, first of all, from this light down at night after 8 o'clock at dark, it's ghost town. So how can we stop this money that can make the economy? We need better roads. I swear, on Martin Luther King's side, on my side of town, we need better roads. West side, you need better roads. But if you're not making any money in this town, across the track, we're in a deficit. We negative $500,000 last time I checked in deficit. So we're not getting no roads done over there as much, okay? So I know about the story that she said where she stayed, but the story on this side of town, we don't see this all. But it's tax and money that come in that I pay for my store that come to you guys, that this part should be making our community better. So that same money that come from the business and local businesses, the taxes that you get percent from state of Florida, it can make the infrastructure better. Then people travel these RVs, all the millionaires traveling through these back towns looking for local places. I have them stop to eat breakfast with me. They never known about it, but now they know about it. So it opened more revenue for us. It won't be stagnated no more. So we have to look deep within our souls. We're gonna still go be in the 21st century and meet up everybody else standards. We're still going back to the 80s and just let the same people run this town and dictate what's going on in this town because of what they feel is not right. How you think we feel? We've been going through this all our lives. So if we bear the burden, let someone else bear the same burden to make our community better. And then when you look back, if you're not voted again, you know, hey, I did make a difference in Madison. I didn't stick with the status quo all the same time to be the same way all the time. Look, we ain't opened no new businesses that produce major jobs since starting mines and Dixie Pipe cost the same. What else can we say we incorporated Madison to make people want to stay here? To make, besides $8.25, that minimum wages just went up. You understand? So give the people opportunity. No, I get trains every morning. RV parks right now in Lee, every day, down my road. My kids, I got a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old. They just put 2 RV parks. But it's bringing money to the community, so why get mad about it? I can't change things. All I gotta do is adjust and adapt to it. And let's adapt to making the economy better in Madison County. And then more businesses want to come here, and we could build better